Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, ranching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic nerdy stats and information data are about Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another episode here on the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast is Mr. Jimmy Jet. How are you, Mr. Jimmy Jet?
I am doing very well.
I was wearing a Cruise Moab shirt yesterday.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I thought about re-wearing it today, and because I think we're gonna wear it for like the last 2 hours yesterday, something like that. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
nice.
Sorry that was it this one? It wasn't this one. I don't think you have this one.
No, it was the most recent one, I believe.
2025's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one I missed.
Mm-hmm.
But you still brought me a shirt. Thank you. Yes, this one's 2024.
That has an FJ62 and
I think that's an FJ60.
Round headlights?
I think that was the 60, and I think the 62 had square headlights.
Really? I thought it was the other way around.
And then, I don't know what that is. The Land Cruiser.
I mean, it looks like a 250 series,
250,
but were they out in 2020? I guess they were in 2024. Okay.
Yeah. I think when they debuted.
True. That's right. We did talk with Kurt Williams about them.
Mm-hmm.
So fair enough, man.
True.
We have a fun episode for you guys on a Monday here.
Yeah.
It is Monday. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Hi, Justin. Hope you guys had a good time out on the trail. Let's see. We got chugga. What do we got going on today? We've got the beginning of October.
Yeah.
So we have a winner to announce from September on Thursday this week.
Correct.
So we'll get you guys that for this really cool Dobinson's trail bag here. Super heavy duty, super rugged, durable, with lots of really neat little pockets.
Yeah,
so.
I know. It's a really nice bag. I'm sort of sad to see it go.
Yeah.
But we'll have a lucky winner on Thursday's episode when we go over all that and the FNGs and birthdays and everything there. So for sure. And then that also means that we have a new giveaway to talk about. Which is our gift boxes.
Yeah.
We are giving away 2 items from the gift box, or 2 gift boxes, excuse me, to two lucky individuals. I'm always confused how to say this. It's very bizarre.
Just 2 wieners.
2 winners. And you're each going to get a gift box.
Yep.
That's a much easier way to say it. Yes. So we're going to be getting the gift boxes out here. They probably might be being shipped right about now, if not soon.
Should be pretty damn close here.
Yep. We'll have to send over make sure that all those addresses are sent over, and then they're getting shipped out to you guys if you're in the gift box tier. So hopefully your addresses were correct, because they're going out right now.
Yep.
But now is a perfect time for you guys to move up to the gift box tier. If you choose, you can move out of the gift box tier if you want as well. This is a great opportunity to do any shifting on the Snail Squad setup that you might want to do. So go over to iRate 4x4, log in, go down to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast under the Watch, Listen, and Discuss section. And on the right side on your computer at the bottom on mobile will be all those options for you. You have the $5 tier, which is pretty much buy us a coffee. You have the $10 tier, which enters you into the giveaway, which this month's those gift boxes. And then the $20 tier, which is our gift box tier. So in 6 months from now, you will be getting a gift box from us, or possibly from somebody else from us, like this one is. And but now's the time to move. Also, quick reminder, if you are moving, you have to go to your PayPal account to cancel any old subscriptions that you don't want.
Yep. So make sure you guys do that. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us. Jimmy's monitoring the Snail Trail 4x4 on Instagram. I'm monitoring 4x4 Toyota Tyler on IG. But if you have questions about PayPal and you're kind of stuck somewhere, get a screenshot, reach out to us. We can guide you through the process. We just can't do it for you. So that's October. This is the big month to swap it up, change stuff, get in, move out, whatever you guys want to do. Just remember that you have to stay in for the full 6 months if you want a gift box. So you have to get in now and stay in until April if you want your April gift box. If you get in now and leave in February, sorry, no gift box for you.
Nope.
But thank you for the extra coffees. We love you.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see. Anything else we got going on? We got the gift box. We have reviews. Giveaways for reviews over at Apple Podcasts. So we already did 750, and that was a set of tires, a full set of Yokohama tires to Beer Andy's son, which was Alex Montgomery. So congrats to Alex for winning that. That was pretty freaking rad to be able to do a whole set of tires as a giveaway. That was always kind of a main goal for Jimmy and I. Like, what's the biggest prize we could think of that off-roaders would love to get? It was like tires. Tires. We want tires. And so we accomplished that. It was pretty rad. So we're now moving on to 800 reviews. At 800 is an Onyx Elite membership, as well as a swag pack from Jimmy and I, from MORRFlate, Snail Trail, Snail Armor, as well as some other companies that we've worked with and are working with. So we'll have that for you guys. We'll do another swag pack giveaway at 850, and then at 900 reviews, we're going to do $1,000 giveaway prize with MORRFlate. So we're working on some fun things here over at MORRFlate, and one of them will be announced at the end of October. So keep your ear holes open. And then the other one is going to be announced, I'm hoping, middle to late spring next year.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that we get to that before we get to 900 reviews. Otherwise, we won't get to tease and talk about what the announcement is at the further 900 reviews.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You'll just we'll say, congratulations, you won a bunch of MORRFlate stuff and this really cool thing that we can't tell you about.
Yeah, and you can't get yet.
So, exactly.
I'm curious for the one that's going to come out in November.
Oh,
because I think I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Halloween themed.
Okay,
and it's orange hoses.
I'm not at liberty. If I told you, I'd have to kill you, Jimmy.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay. Because obviously I like the orange color.
Yeah, and our gear wrench orange.
Exactly.
It's a good orange.
There's no other air inflation companies also that run orange.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They should just do a Halloween special.
They really should. I might text Dustin and let him know that,
Yeah.
Hey, you can give me, 1% marketing royalties for this idea. Yeah. Just give it to Jimmy.
We talked about it on our podcast, by the way. Yeah, maybe not. Okay. So maybe it's something else. Bummer.
Yep. Something else. Let's see. We got today some fun stuff for you guys. It's a Monday, so we're going to try and do something a little educational, hopefully let you learn a little bit and apply it to some things that we're doing. So we will take a quick break, listen to a little bit from Brian at 4 Wheel Underground and all the freaking stuff that he's getting himself into, that they have over there to provide you guys with kind of restructuring the business as almost like a Barnes 4-wheel drive, but like suspension stuff. I guess Barnes is suspension stuff too, but Brian's setting himself up really well to have some really high quality, special focus. I don't know what the right word is. Focusing on suspension stuff. That's what he specializes in, right? So being able to now go and get that one bracket you need or want, or the one joint or the one link and the aluminum links that he has now, you can go and do that rather than having to buy an entire kit all at one time. So pretty cool the way he's kind of restructuring things. He has a lot more stuff on the horizon for you guys. So definitely keep your ear holes open. Go support 4 Wheel Underground, because the ideas and plans that this guy has in his head, I really want to see come to fruition. So everybody needs to be going and shopping at 4 Wheel Underground so we can see these things come to life.
For sure.
Yeah.
I want aluminum trailing arms.
Brian, Jimmy has spoken.
And Jimmy is God.
And Jimmy is God now. All right, we'll be right on back after a couple words from Brian, and we'll see you guys in a couple seconds.
At 4 Wheel Underground, we have something for everyone's 79 through 04 Toyota vehicle. Whether you've got a Chevy Dana 60, 05 and up Super Duty, fabricated, FJ80, or mini truck axles, we got you covered. 3-link, 4-link, parallel, and triangulated suspension kits, we've got you covered. underbed coilover mounts, through bed coilover mounts, trailing arms, cantilevers, custom tuned coilovers, and air bumps. We've got you covered. Frame stiffeners, subframes, skid plates, shock towers, and more to come. Make sure to use coupon code SNAILTRAIL at fourwheelunderground.com because we've got you covered.
Welcome back, ladies and gentle ladies, to today's campfire discussion, because this is definitely something that Jimmy and I talk about around campfires.
100% is, yes.
And we've had lots of conversations around this with other people around campfires. So it obviously makes sense that we're going to talk about it here on the podcast for the campfire episode campfire discussions. So
Yep.
we have the mule in the warehouse here in the MORRFlate warehouse, and we put it up on the forklift.
Yeah.
And we took a bunch of measurements from it. So I have those here in my hand on this piece of cardboard. And we also have measurements from previous vehicles that we've measured. So we got Bobcat up there behind Jimmy's head on the yellow paper.
Yes.
And we have Kermit, might be a little off screen, on the other side of the snail trail 4x4 on another piece of cardboard over there. And what Kermit's post-op measurements came out to. So, Jimmy and I have sat down and talked about what's really better: Jeeps, Toyotas, Fords,
big
Isuzu,
axles,
Amigos,
big axles, small axles, big tires, large tires, small tires, medium
diffs,
tires,
small diffs. There's so many different variables that go into creating an off-road vehicle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And all those variables kind of play into what you want to wheel, what kind of stuff you want to do differently too, right? So you're not going to build a sand hollow competition vehicle the same way you're going to build a Rubicon vehicle, right?
Weekend Warrior,
which is not the same way you're going to build an Ultra 4 Johnson Valley King of the Hammers vehicle.
Yeah, or a sand buggy.
Or a Baja T1 truck. There's just so many different ways to build vehicles. And a lot of it kind of comes down to the stats of how that vehicle turns out. And Jimmy and I have kind of just throughout the years, we've found certain stats that we like to focus in on and measure a vehicle, and thus kind of glean instances of how that vehicle is going to do in different situations.
Absolutely. And we have different preferences.
And we definitely have different preferences too, right?
Right.
So it's just kind of one of those things that Jimmy and I inevitably talk a lot about when we're out on our own and talking about Bobcat versus Kermit versus Brian Flynn's truck versus Jason Green's buggy versus Jason Hussman's buggy. There's all these cool different vehicles out there. And when you start looking at them, you're like, well, okay, well, this one's wider, shorter. This one's taller, shorter, height wise. This one has this much of articulation. This one's running this size tires to give it this much ground clearance, or vice versa. Right. Approach angles, departure angles, all this different things that result in what a vehicle is capable of. So we kind of have this list that we've created, that we've started measuring and keeping records of our vehicles on.
Right.
And so we originally did Bobcat versus OG Kermit.
Correct. Yeah, we did.
Which was the Toyota Axles Leaf Spring Kermit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened to that Kermit's measurements. We did a whole episode on it though. And then we did another episode on Kermit pre-op and post-op, which was the axles and the four-wheel underground suspension. And I don't know what happened to that piece of cardboard with Kermit's the pre-op numbers on it.
I don't know either.
We need to go back and listen to the episode and just get them down so that, and then keep them up on the wall like this so that we have them, right?
Well, we'll just put it on the other side of that one.
Yeah. So anyways,
before and after, flip it around.
Yeah. So anyways, I thought those were kind of fun episodes to talk about. And,
they were.
Compare and contrast Bobcat to pre-op Kermit, and then pre-op Kermit to post-op Kermit, and Bobcat to post-op Kermit.
Right.
And now,
and Bobcat won in all those, by the way.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what stats we went over. Out on the trail, Bobcat seems to always kick Kermit's ass. So, which I think it has a lot more to do with driver skill.
Maybe.
Jimmy is a much better driver than me. I am 100% okay with admitting that. But yeah, and he has bigger balls and more seat time. He's got 20 years of seat time. So he really knows
in that truck.
Pretty much the way it's built. Yeah.
Yeah. I have more wheeling time, like more years I've been off-roading, but that one truck I've about 20 years in. Yeah. So I'm just comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's still, I mean, I've had Kermit done with the new axles and suspension, the 4-wheel underground, 2 years.
Yeah, about that.
And I've gotten pretty comfy with it. But still, I look back at stuff you do in Bobcat and I'm like, I wouldn't try that in Kermit.
Okay.
I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a puss. I don't know, man.
Maybe.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that one. I think Kermit right now is definitely way more capable than I am, and I'm willing to admit. But I was curious though, because I know kind of the stats of Kermit fairly well, how he currently sits off the top of my head. And out on the Rubicon, I felt like the Mule was very similar behaving as Kermit.
In some aspects.
In a lot of aspects.
Okay.
There was two major aspects, three, I guess, but one is drivetrain related, not related to these stats here. So two major aspects to these stats that we keep track of that I was like, this is a big difference on the trail.
Yeah.
So one was wheelbase.
Yes.
And the other was breakover angle.
Right.
Yeah. And so I was kind of curious now. I'm like, okay, so what are those differences?
What are those numbers?
What are those numbers? And I'm really curious how the Mule's numbers stack up to Kermit's on the things that I thought were comparative. And I was like, these drive very similarly this way.
Yeah.
In these stats. So we're going to go over those.
Yeah.
And talk about them and then talk about kind of what that stat does for you on the trail.
Yeah. What does it mean?
How
does it help
How does
you?
it play into how you wheel kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with, I've got the Mule numbers here in my lap. So we'll just start with those ones, which are in the same order as Bobcat's on top of Jimmy's head there.
Okay. Should I just pull this one down so we don't have to look off like camera?
Kermit, yeah, sure. You can have it and compare. You got it.
Yeah, I was putting the tack back in place. Okay.
Very talented with those fingers, Jimmy.
I know. You can ask the assistant.
Yeah. So there's more on this list on the Mule list than there is on Kermit post-op. But I think after Trail Hero, I want to pull Kermit into the warehouse and I could do it at home.
Yeah.
Because really it's just the approach and departure angle I think we're missing.
Okay.
But
skid plate.
Skid plate. We got the TK skid plate.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, we got Kermit's measurements here and the Mule's measurements, and we got Bobcat's over Jimmy's head there. So the wheelbase of the Moscow Mule, the MORRFlate Mule, is 118 inches.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That's pretty.
I did not expect it to be that long.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I was not thinking, because if you think about it, 118 inch wheelbase is actually the same as a 4-door Wrangler. So a Jeep not a Rubicon, a Jeep Unlimited.
Okay.
A Wrangler Unlimited.
Yep.
And so if you think about it in that term, you're like, okay, that's actually fairly comparable then to a 4-door 4th gen 4Runner.
Yeah.
You would think would be pretty similar. But 118 inches seems long.
It does.
For a 4Runner or a Wrangler.
Well, a little bit. I mean, they're in the high teens. Like I figured they were like 16 to 18. So I figured that, yeah, that's right there. But I did not assume, I assumed the 4Runner was shorter for some reason.
Yeah.
And
I thought it would be like 112, 113, somewhere around there in the wheelbase.
Right.
And maybe it is. I think that they stretched it when Dimitri did the front link.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure he stretched it because it has an FJ80 steering box going forward, swinging forward.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Okay. I did notice it's a redhead.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. But yeah, so they probably did push it forward.
Probably.
A little bit. So it was probably, and did they push the rear axle back?
I don't think so. The rear axle's pretty centered in that wheel well.
Okay.
So
They maybe pushed it 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah, that'd be my guess, my assumption. Yeah.
So it was a 15 or 16
Yeah.
stock.
Yeah.
We could probably look that up.
And so we could probably ask ChatGPT and it'll let us know right away what the stock wheelbase of 4th Gen 4Runner is. But anyways, so we have a 118-inch wheelbase on the Mule right now. Kermit has 107.5.
Yeah.
Which was really surprising in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
That's way shorter than I thought it was.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Again, I'm thinking a 4-door SUV would be around 112, 113, maybe 114.
Yeah. I wonder what a 3rd gen is.
That's a good question. ChatGPT, what do we got going on? We need a producer. Brian, we need our producer Brian back.
We need our Brian back. I got the stats.
Okay.
Kermit, which has been modified.
Yep.
Is sitting at 107.5.
Yes. Wheelbase. Okay.
Wheelbase. What is your guess for a 3rd gen 4Runner?
I gotta stick with 112. I'm gonna go with 112.
105.3.
What? A 3rd gen?
A 3rd gen. Stock wheelbase.
Oh, okay.
Is what chat said.
Yeah.
Okay. 4th gen, 109.8.
A stock 4th gen 4Runner is 109.8-inch wheelbase, so 110.
110.
So Dimitri stretched the Mule 8 inches? What?
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Okay.
And
wow.
I'm shocked about how small a 3rd gen 4Runner is.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. You would think a 4-door SUV is going to be longer wheelbase than that.
I would have assumed it was similar to what Bobcat is.
Yeah.
Why? Like Bobcat's stupid long.
Yeah. 123-inch wheelbase on Bobcat.
And that's stretched too.
Yeah.
A few, only like 2 or 3 inches though, because the rear is in the stock location and the front has been pushed forward, but you can't push leaf springs too far forward.
No.
So, I mean, you can, but build more frame.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is only like 2 inches.
Yeah.
So it's what, 121?
121.
120,
I think 121 sounds right for what Toyota likes to do on those trucks. But
I would have assumed a 3rd gen 4Runner would be closer to what
than a 105.
Than 105.
Yeah.
That sounds
crazy.
almost what the 2nd gen is.
Yeah. I wonder what a stock 2nd gen is.
Okay, fine.
Producer Brian.
103.5.
Wow. Okay. So the Kermit is stretched 4 inches.
4 inches.
And the Mule is stretched 8 inches.
Which sounds about right because
yeah.
the front of Samantha, when I'm talking with Brian for 4-Wheel Underground, I can push it about 4 inches forward.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, that's, I don't know. Those numbers surprise me.
Yeah.
But what does wheelbase do for an off-roader then? Like what are the benefits of having a shorter wheelbase versus a longer wheelbase?
Yeah. Well, shorter wheelbases are better for sort of climbing over things.
Okay. Not
right?
up things,
not
climbing
up
over things.
Over things,
Okay.
right? Because your tires are closer together.
Yeah.
So if you have to climb over things, when we'll get to this, another phrase kind of for this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's the wheels are closer together, so you don't bottom out. Whereas longer vehicles, I feel, are better for climbing up things. The angle's not as extreme than if you're in like a Suzuki Samurai and you're trying to go up back door, right? By the time your rear tire touches the wall, if your front tire hasn't gone over endoed back away at the words, you're at like an 80 degree, 75 degree angle or whatever it is up there. Where if you have a long, like Bobcat, a long wheelbase, by the time my rear tires hit the wall on back door, my front tires might already be cresting the top and getting grip over the top of it. And I won't be as extreme of an angle.
Yeah.
So longer wheelbases, I feel, help with the climbing and straight ups.
For sure.
Short wheelbases help you get over boulders and rocks and things. I don't know if there's an argument in regards to off camber because you're both off cambered the same. But I feel like if you're off cambered and then you need to go and get straight, it's easier on a short wheelbase because your turning radius is smaller.
Yep.
Where on a longer wheelbase, you just have this huge arc and you just kind of feel like you're going to die the entire time.
Yeah.
I guess that can also go in line with just trail turns and corners. Longer wheelbase, is just a larger turning radius than a short wheelbase. So there's pros and cons to both.
Yep.
I personally like long wheelbases. I haven't found too many incidences where I've been hindered by having a longer wheelbase, but I've found a bunch of reasons that have helped me in my wheeling career by having the longer wheeling base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I kind of agree. I feel like a lot of trails you're at greater risk climbing things than you are weaving through things.
Yeah.
In my opinion, when on a off-roading trail. So I would much rather have a longer wheelbase because you just have a lot more stability when climbing things.
Yeah.
And then I just work around the tighter, narrower, windier trails. Cause that's less risky. It takes longer to get through the trail.
Yeah.
You can't just zip through them, but, you're not worrying about endoing your rig backwards.
No.
Going up a ledge or something.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to do a 3-5 foot point turn, and especially, there's some spots on like Pritchett Canyon where you're on the edge of a cliff and you're having to do this like multi-point turn and it's a little sketchy at times where if you had a slightly shorter wheelbase, you might have made the corner right away. So yeah, there's a little balancing act there, but yeah, I like longer wheelbases. But it's funny because if you were to talk to an old geezer off-road guy, they say like a 105, 108 wheelbase is like prime.
Yeah.
Right. And now there's all these Jeeps coming out that are in that high
117, 118.
Yeah. High teen, 110s range. And everybody's like, this is great. And then, Bobcat's 123. And I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's really sort of a choose your own adventure, figure out what you like. What fits in your area is probably very, that changes a wheelbase, opportunities. I also feel that there's some, there's trails that cater to small wheelbases and there's trails that cater to longer wheelbases. And sometimes, I haven't made an obstacle because my wheelbase is long where some of the shorter ones have made it through.
Yeah.
And then there's always the opposite.
Yep. Yeah. I agree on all that. The big places I noticed where wheelbase was nice having in the Mule was Walker Hill, and, Whalebones.
Whalebones for sure.
Yeah.
Whalebones for me is almost kind of hard because I'm so long that by the time I'm trying to start the turn to go up, my rear tires are at the rocks.
Yeah.
And so I either have to make this extremely tight uphill turn or start driving over the rocks at a different angle to hit that hill.
Yep.
So there is an advantage to having a slightly shorter wheelbase, probably around 115, 16, 17. Right in that range would be a pretty good one to have because you're probably past the big rock by the time you're already starting to go up that hill.
Yeah. 107 Kermit is really nice for whalebones on that aspect of being able to make the turn and line up for the climb. I definitely noticed I had a harder time making the turn and lining up for the climb in the Mule, but Kermit is, I think I wouldn't want to be any shorter wheelbase than Kermit going up whalebones.
Yeah.
Like people in CJ5s, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Kermit does it just fine, but like as you're going up whalebones, it almost gets steeper in the second half.
Yeah.
If you're cutting the inside turn and avoiding the hole on the passenger side. So once Kermit hits that second steeper part, I can feel the front end get really light.
Yes.
And I'm like, CJ5, I'm out of that, man. I'm letting somebody else drive and I'm walking that thing. But
yeah, and smaller would be nuts.
Yeah. But the Mule in 118 inch wheelbase, I was able to hit that steeper part and it just stayed planted. It was no issue. So that was really nice. But with both of them having about 45 degrees of steering, I definitely noticed that Kermit was way more zippier getting through some of the turns that I'm used to getting through the tight turns on.
Right.
And setting up for lines after turns. And whereas the Mule,
100%.
I had to do a 2.3 point turn in a couple spots. So that's your trade-off.
Well, it's because you can't make that turn until and I preach this everywhere.
Yeah.
Half of the battle of off-roading is knowing where your rear tires are.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can't make a turn until your rear tire passes that rock or passes that tree or, because if you start turning too early, you're going to put yourself in a bad situation. So Kermit, you can make that turn earlier, right? Almost a foot earlier than you could with the Mule.
Yep.
And another foot for Bobcat.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's the wheelbase. I thought it was really fascinating, that big of a difference between the two vehicles. 10-year difference and a lot of stretching apparently on the Mule. So
wow. Yeah. That's wild.
Next up on the stats list, we have frame height.
Right.
And the frame height is important. I don't think it's the bigger important. It is pretty important part. Because typically when you're driving over rocks with your tires,
yes,
not always, but for the most part, your frame is going to be one of the next things that are going to hit those rocks as you're driving straight, right?
Sure.
The rocks are going to end up between your tires. And if you're boat sided, you're good. You're fine, right? Or if you have sliders, you're going to end up on your sliders. Right. But then your frame is going to be kind of that next hitting point in as you go towards the vehicle. And since those are closer to the same linear line as your tires, that's why frame height is important, in my opinion.
Yes. Okay.
So Kermit's frame height is 29 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's tall. That's tall.
It is tall, right? And it doesn't seem like Kermit is that tall, but yeah, 29-inch frame height.
Yeah.
The Mule's frame height is 25 inches.
Okay.
So we're looking at 4 inches shorter.
26 and 1/8 for Bobcat.
So Kermit is taller than Bobcat on the frame. Wow. That's impressive.
And I don't know when we did this, but when I went to Moab in like 2022, I lowered Bobcat.
Okay.
By a few inches.
Yeah.
So I might want to check that stat and see if that's still where it is.
That's a fair point. I don't know if these stats, these were from when I first had it done, when I first had the post-op done on Kermit. So I don't think they've been updated since I've been playing around with the coils on the coilovers.
Sure.
So that'd be interesting to remeasure and find out where he currently sits.
And this is at full pressure on tires.
This is full street pressure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, the frame height on Kermit, 29 inches and frame height, 25 inches on the Mule. That just means the benefits and drawbacks are you can go over bigger rocks without having as much worry about it getting hung up on those rocks. But your center of gravity is a lot higher.
Exactly.
Typically. So, and your center of gravity, why is that important if that's higher or lower?
Well, I like center of gravity to be lower because then if I'm doing any obstacle for the most part or off camber situations, you just feel more planted to the ground, right? If your center of gravity is lower, you're just you have less of the feeling of tipping and rolling over or any of those problems. So I think that's your main butt feel of why, why center of gravity is so important. It's just you have the sensation that you're planted to the ground more than otherwise. So like if you have a higher center of gravity, like Kermit has a higher center of gravity, off camber situations aren't fun.
Yeah, they get to be a little bit more worrisome on the butt dyno.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't feel as planted to the ground. And it feels like your propensity to roll the vehicle or flop it is a lot higher with a higher center of gravity.
It does.
But if you're really low center of gravity, you end up hitting your frame and your sliders on a bunch of stuff and get hung up on things, right?
Exactly.
So there's a balance there, and that balance comes down to, I think, how do you manage off camber and your center of gravity? How does that feel for you as a driver? Are you concerned about off camber feelings, or are you just kind of like, yeah, I don't really care. If I go over, I go over. I'll just roll the car back over. We'll keep going.
Right.
So I've tried to combat that by going really wide.
Yes.
And the goal of being really wide is to offset my height on Kermit. Because I do want to be tall. I want to have a lot of ground clearance. I don't get hung up on stuff. I don't come down on rocks really hard. But because of that, I have to be really wide to offset the center of gravity trying to pull me over.
Yes.
So
the width helps with stability, which makes you feel more planted.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Might not actually change your center of gravity.
True. Yep.
But it does make you feel more stable.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes more of your center of gravity going over to pull that lever up and over, right? Yeah. The longer lever. So
right. I wonder like what most built Jeeps frame height is, because they seem to have a really low frame height. Do you have a Jeep back here?
We do have a stock JK.
Is it stock?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It might have like a 1-inch spacer lift on it, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty stock.
No, that's not going to help us.
Yeah.
We need one on 40s. Somebody on 40s, tell me what your frame height is.
Yeah.
The flat part of your frame, like underneath your chair.
Yeah. And I'd be curious to hear the difference between JK and JL, because I swear the JLs have a really low chassis compared to the JK. It's surprisingly, I feel like it's almost upwards of 6 inches.
Dang.
Like it's just the JL chassis, for whatever reason, it seems like it's a lot lower than JKs are.
Okay.
Especially on 40-inch tires.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious, like if somebody has that comparison on 40-inch tires for a 4-door JK versus a 4-door JL, what your frame height is, let us know. So that's frame height,
because
right?
I think frame height. So it's funny because frame height on Jeeps, I feel, are so much lower than what we are, but they still go everywhere that we go.
Yeah.
Right. They're just dragging their frame across a lot of stuff.
Yep.
But I also feel that a lot of that, the ability to be able to continue to travel comes to your articulation.
Oh, for sure. Keeping traction
on
the ground.
Traction. Yeah. Like even if you drop off a ledge and your frame hits the ground, if your front tires can still reach the ground to give you grip to pull you off of whatever you're on, you can still continue down the trail.
Yeah, I would agree. So it just depends on how much you want to hit your frame or your skid plates. Add extra metal to your frame to create skid plates on there, kind of thing. If you want to do that, I mean, as long as you plan for it, then ground clearance doesn't have to be a big issue.
Sure, it's
just my preference. I don't like dragging on rocks and hitting rocks. Right. It's
and I like it lower.
Yeah,
that's why. What is Bobcat's frame height?
26 1/8.
Yeah. So I'm 1 inch above.
Oh, interesting.
I'm 1 inch higher than the Mule, right? 25.
Yeah. Yep. 1 inch higher than the Mule. Yeah. This is going to be interesting. The next stat.
Skid plate.
Yeah. So the Mule is 21.5, and skid plate. We're saying skid plate because that's for all of three of our vehicles here. That is kind of the lowest denominator point, low hanging fruit, other than the axles.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, like the skid plate underneath your transmission and T-case, kind of, that typically on most vehicles that hangs below the frame height. Yeah. And so you have your frame height, and then we have like the lowest thing underneath the vehicle, not including the axles.
Yep. Yep. And that's important because that's where all your important goods are of your vehicle. Your drivetrain, your transmission, your transfer cases, your drive shafts, like that kind of stuff is all right there in the very center of your vehicle. So typically the goal is to never put rocks there, but you can't always avoid it. So if you know how much clearance you have there, it goes a long way to helping you avoid putting rocks there in the first place.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the skid plate on the Mule is 21.5. So 3.5 inches lower than the frame height.
Okay.
The skid plate on Kermit is 24.5, which is 4.5 inches lower
than the frame of Kermit.
Than Kermit's frame.
But it's 3 inches higher.
But still 3 inches taller
than the Mule.
Bobcat is 23 inches. So it's 3 inches lower than your frame height. And only 1.5 inches lower than Kermit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's 2.5 inches or 2 inches higher than the Mule.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So I can drive over bigger rocks than the Mule
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
and of almost the same size as Kermit.
Yeah.
Wild.
Pretty much. Isn't that kind of fun? Just,
Yeah.
Once you start kind of envisioning these stats and how the vehicles compare against each other, you're like, oh, interesting.
I'll put all these numbers if you guys care. I'll make a table and I'll put it all below in the show notes.
Yeah. So ultimately what these come down to is your ability to go over rocks and have ground clearance, but also where your center of gravity sits in the vehicle. But that also has to do with your GVW of the vehicle, your unsprung weight, how big your axles are, your sprung weight, a combination. There's more that goes into GVW than just this.
Yeah.
But this is usually an indicator of getting close to where your center of gravity is going to be sitting.
Sure.
Comparative to other vehicles.
Yeah.
So what I find interesting about this is that the frame height and skid plate are quite a bit lower than Kermit and Bobcat, I would say. I think Kermit and Bobcat are closer together. And then the Mule is the outlier between the two vehicles.
Okay.
And so what that tells me is that the Mule is going to do better in more off-camber situations, V-notch situations maybe,
Yeah.
than Kermit and Bobcat are going to be. So to me, that tells me the Mule is going to be better suited for wheeling out in Moab and Sand Hollow, and Kermit and Bobcat are going to be better suited for wheeling Rubicon, Fordyce, Big Boulder, Granite areas. Johnson Valley stuff,
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of where I'm at so far.
Okay.
Based on wheelbase, especially on wheelbase too. I mean, Bobcat does awesome in Moab because there's a lot of ledges, a lot of things to climb.
Yes.
And Bobcat being 123-inch wheelbase is fantastic for that.
Yeah, I've climbed a few ledges out there that nobody else tries.
No, I would never try some of the stuff you did in Kermit. But in the Mule, being lower center of gravity and not quite as long wheelbase, but lower center of gravity, I might try some of those ledges in the Mule.
All right, let's go.
Right. So anyways, that's kind of my take so far on things we've gone over.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Next up is ground clearance. Since we're on the topic of ground clearance under the differentials.
Yeah. Okay.
The Mule has
what's in the Mule?
The Mule has 05 and up Super Duty axles.
Yeah.
So the front is a 9.5 high pinion, and the rear is a 10.5 Sterling shaved.
It's shaved
with a shaved kit on it.
Yes.
And that's on 42-inch tires.
Correct.
Bobcat has Toyota 8-inch front and rear.
Yep.
With 37-inch tires.
Correct.
And the Kermit has 10.5-inch front and rear custom housings with 40-inch tires.
Yes.
So how does all those combinations compare to each other for differential clearance?
Yeah, that's interesting.
So the Mule, which has the 42s and the Super Duties, the front diff is 13.5 inches of clearance underneath it.
Okay.
Kermit's front diff is 12.5.
Oh. Yeah. Well, it's so you got a
9.5 ring gear to a 10.5 ring gear.
Yep.
And then 42s to 40s.
So, and you're 1 inch less on Kermit.
Yeah.
So you're 13.5 on the Mule. So that's really the difference between 40s and 42s.
Just pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So the 1 inch extra on the ring gear is, I think, negated by how well that custom housing diamond wrapped the center section around that ring gear to save ground clearance space.
Yeah. So you got a larger ring and pinion setup with the diamond housing, smaller tires, and your 1 inch difference.
Yep.
Because if you would have put 42s onto Kermit, you'd be the same.
We would be the same. Yep.
As a stock front housing 05 up Super Duty.
Yep. On 42s. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
It's kind of neat to think about and of how, because I talked with Brian Ellinger, who's the owner of Diamond, that how you wrap a center section around a differential really matters in rock crawling. and that he's found a way to do it that conserves a lot of space and conserves you a good amount of ground clearance.
Okay.
And I've never really had, I mean, we can compare it to an 8-inch on 37s or an 8-inch on 40s. Yeah. But it's been interesting to compare it to
a Super
Duty on 42s.
Yeah.
So
it's really the same. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I bet you if you got like a 9-inch, what would be fun is when I get my diamond up and running on Samantha.
Yeah.
And if I put it on 37s or 40s, whatever it's going to be, then we can kind of get a comparison to where yours sits to where that one is, and with a different ring and pinion size.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Where's Bobcat at?
Bobcat is a 12 1/4.
12 1/4. So
for an 8-inch on 37s,
I'm a 1/4 inch less than you are.
Yeah. I have a 1/4 inch more ground clearance under my 10.5-inch diffs
with
the 40s
and 10.5 inch.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's impressive. That is really actually quite impressive.
It just shows what a custom axle housing can do.
Yeah. Right.
How much space that can save.
Yeah. Wow. I never realized. I don't think I've made that connection before, that I actually have more ground clearance under Kermit's front diff than you do. I would have thought for sure the 8-inch would have had more ground clearance under it.
And I would have thought my rear diff has more clearance because I've shaved it.
Oh, that's right.
You took I shaved the front, but the rear's not shaved.
Gotcha.
So maybe that did.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something there.
Yeah. Interesting. So the rears, let's talk about the rears now. Kermit, the front and rear the same.
Yeah.
12 1/2.
12 1/2.
And Bobcat are 12 1/4.
Yep. The same.
The Mule is different.
Yeah.
Because it's a shave kit on the rear Sterling.
Right.
So I didn't realize how much space you gain by doing a shave kit on a Sterling. A Sterling axle is a big fucking axle.
Right.
It has a huge, massive chunk mass of a center section.
It does.
And I never thought in a million years that a Sterling would be able to give you more ground clearance than a custom housing. Now, Sterlings, I believe, use 10.5-inch ring gears. That's why they're called 10.5 Sterlings.
Yep.
So the ring gears are, I don't want to say identical. They're proportionate to each other between the Mule and Kermit.
Yes.
So Kermit has the 10.5-inch in the rear, with the diamond housing on 40s, and he's at 12.5-inch.
Yes.
Of clearance.
Yep.
The Mule is a shaved Sterling on 42s, and he has 14.5.
Yeah.
2 whole inches of clearance.
Yeah, that's wild.
And so if you had the Mule on 40s.
Oh, Mule on 40s.
Yep. Or Kermit on 42s. You can do the math either way.
It's 1 inch difference.
1 inch of difference still. That shaved Sterling is gaining you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I thought that was really impressive. I didn't realize how much space and clearance you can gain from a Sterling 10.5. I just assumed it was like a 14 bolt. There's no way to make those things fit without being ground anchors.
Right.
But Ballistic Fab, who I think is out of business now. Yeah. That's the shave kit that's under the Mule right now. Wow. So that makes me kind of be like, 10.5 Sterlings are pretty easy to get and cheap to get.
Right.
From an 05 and up Super
not
Duty.
Very easy.
Shave kit isn't, you got to know how to weld for sure. You have to know how to weld and create a liquid tight and airtight weld. But if you know how to do that, you can do a shave kit.
Well, and the center section's cast, right?
It is. I mean, it takes long. I guess, yeah, you need to have experience welding cast because you have to preheat a lot.
Right.
And then slow cool a lot and use a high nickel rod.
Right.
But if you know how to do all that.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's not as easy as MIGging something up.
That's fair. Is it easier? I mean, is it easier to do that or just to get diamond housing and just say, don't worry about the extra 1 inch?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would say it's probably easier to buy a diamond housing and not do the extra work.
Yeah.
But it's probably not cost effective.
Yeah,
I mean, it costs you a little bit more
to
do that than just get the housing.
And you're still not getting a 1 inch extra clearance out of it. So, yeah. That's gives and takes, right? And that's the whole point of going through this exercise of all these different stats and what they mean to you.
Yeah. Now, what if Bobcat was on 40s?
If Bobcat was on 40s, everything would go up 1.5 inches. So you'd be at 13 3/4, roughly. So you'd have more clearance by 1.25 inches than Kermit, and be about the same as the Mule on 42s.
Right. On toothpicks.
On toothpick Toyota axles.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're about equivalent to Dana 44s. You can run 40s on them. You just got to be really careful.
You got to be gentle. Yeah.
I did that for 2 years, ran 40s on Toyota axles, and I was like, I'm done being gentle.
I want to play harder.
I want to go play harder.
Right. Okay. So that's interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're fairly close, but it's shocking what that shaved rear can do.
Now just think about a shaved 10.5 Sterling on 42s and portals.
Oh, geez.
So you're getting extra
four
four.
more,
You'd
roughly
be at
3 to 4 inches more.
18.5 inches under the rear axle.
That would be nuts.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, what did Scott say he had on his 44s? Wasn't it 17 inches under his stock axles?
I want to say, yeah, Dana 44s on 40-inch tires. He was getting like 17 inches, 17.5 inches, something like that. Yeah. That's crazy. Anyway, so that's the differentials.
Yep.
Fun differential talk.
All right. We're about halfway through.
All right. So this, I think we can speed up quite a bit because we've already talked about some of these concepts. Now we're just applying it to different measurements. Your track widths.
Track width.
Yep.
Interesting.
So track width, the way we measured was outside tire on one side of the vehicle to the outside tire on the other side of the vehicle.
Furthest point.
Yep. And what's interesting to me is that the Mule and Kermit are flip-flopped.
Yeah.
On their front and rear axles.
Funny, huh?
So the front axle of the Mule is 89 3/4 inches, and the front axle on Kermit is 87 1/4.
Yeah.
So 2.5 inch difference.
Yes.
And then the rear of the Mule is 87 3/4. And the rear of Kermit is 89 1/4.
Right.
So they're just essentially flip-flopped with a 1/2 inch difference on them.
Yeah.
Now the difference there when you flip-flop those two measurements, in theory, a wider front axle will make you track better at higher speeds.
And easier to corner.
Correct. Whereas a narrower front axle doesn't really help you a whole lot. There's not really any benefits to it.
No.
I just had to do it because I didn't order an extra long housing.
Right.
So I had to cut the axle limited to whatever the long side was going to be.
Well, and you were limited on your rear axle length because you already bought the axle shafts.
I already had the axle shafts. Yep. So the rear axle was going to be stupid long. And then the front axle, I couldn't match the rear because I didn't order a 6 or 7 inch longer axle housing.
Right.
So
why do you think the Mule's axles are different sizes?
That's a good question. I'm not sure because it's 05 and up Super Duties.
Yeah.
I don't think the Mule's running spacers in the front.
I didn't look. Yeah, I don't
recognize. Know if it's just the wheel offset that he put on there.
Well, hopefully the wheel offsets are the same all around.
I haven't checked.
Yeah.
Those are Method 20-inch wheels. And I don't know if like the front is a 4.5 inch back or 3.5 and the rear is a 4.5 inch back spacing. So that's our 2-inch difference. So I don't know if that is the thing, and I don't know why he would do that.
Yeah.
But that's the way they're measuring out right now.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if they just pushed the front out maybe with spacers to clear the firewall better on turning. I don't know. It doesn't really seem to have an effect on the scrub radius. The Mule turns really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they did it that way rather than just keeping it the same width, front and rear.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they just got different width axles because I'm sure there are different widths for
probably
a few different
for the Super Duties, though, 5 and ups.
So I wonder what the thought process was there.
Yeah.
Why they did that.
Dima, let us know. Give us a call.
Yeah. Or if it's just what they had.
Yeah. I know that I wanted both of them Kermit's axles to be like 90.
Yeah.
89 to 90 inch track width.
Wow.
Which was kind of the roughly the limit of getting through the Barrett Lake gate. I think Barrett Lake gate is 87
Okay.
86 3/4, something like that, which is my rear axle's beadlock measurement.
Yeah.
So the outside of the beadlock ring to outside of beadlock ring is the limit of the Barrett Lake gate.
Right.
Whatever that measures out to. And then my tires poof out a little bit more, being 1350 wides. So that's where you get the extra 2 inches on them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Bobcat,
Yeah. Bobcat's tiny.
narrow little axles. Your front and rear axle looks like it's the same at 75.5.
70. Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
The axle is actually shorter in the front, but I have
Okay.
spacers to make it even.
So there you go. That's where you get your
Yeah.
track width out.
Yep. 75 on the Toyota. So that's the IFS rear axle.
Yep.
Which measures out to with a 9 inch wide rim
Mm-hmm.
and I think a 4.5 inch. I don't know if it's backspace or offset. I don't know whatever it is.
4.5 inch would be back spacing.
Yeah, backspacing. It's almost 50.
So centered almost.
It's almost centered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 37 12.5s.
Okay.
So gets it out to be about 75. I know when I had the Toyos on there
Mm-hmm.
and they were 1350s, it was almost 78.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
So, yeah, just kind of funny how the tire does
It makes a difference on your track
as
width.
well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And having a wider track width just means you're more stable in off-camber situations.
Yeah.
It's harder to fit places.
Yep.
You definitely can't fit through normal things on the trail anymore. But that's also kind of the benefit of being wide is now you can go up and over stuff without feeling like you're going to tip over.
Sure.
You have more resistance to that.
Yeah.
So you just kind of start going up and over. It's a different way of thinking of wheeling.
Yeah.
So it took me almost a year to adjust to that in Kermit's wider axles from the Toyota axles.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of the Toyota axles, I can move and maneuver through obstacles when Tyler has to drive over one of the rocks to the other.
Yep.
But that also means that I have to do lots of turning to like weave my way through the trail.
Yeah.
And Tyler just kind of goes straight and he just keeps articulating over all these big rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's your trade-off with track widths.
Yeah.
So more stable, less fitting in places, or more fitting and less stable. So
Yeah.
let's see.
It's just a choice. It's if you go wider, you just can't take the same lines as somebody that's narrow.
Yep. Let's see. Next up is articulation,
Yeah.
which is a fun one.
This is interesting too.
This one I thought so wheeling Kermit, well, going into buying the mule,
Yeah.
I'll say,
Okay.
I figured that the mule would be about the same articulation as Kermit.
Right.
Maybe a little better,
Okay.
but I wasn't sure
Sure.
because that rear forelink in the mule, it stretches, man. It moves. It goes. It doesn't move. It's very planted, very stable, but it articulates quite a bit.
Right. It does.
And I've seen that rig articulate on a trail, and I would like to think that the 4-wheel underground dual 3-link that we did under Kermit articulates better, but I don't know, man. I've seen the mule on the trail stretched out a lot
Yeah.
and it gets flexy.
It does.
So I wasn't sure which way this would run.
Yeah.
Running the trail on the Rubicon in the mule, I felt like maybe Kermit would flex better, had better flex. I definitely felt the mule stuffing the tires and being limited on its articulation due to the tires rubbing in places.
Yes.
And I think I mentioned that after the episode.
You did.
But I wasn't sure if it still had more articulation, just rub, and the rub is what was making me feel unconfident with it.
Okay.
And so this was the one that I was really interested in getting up on the forklift and measuring.
Yeah. And so how to do?
So our Kermit's articulation, front tire up in the air with the forklift, you got 41 inches below the front tire.
Yeah. From the lowest point of the front tire to the ground.
Yep.
Was 41 inches. And we did this measurement by lifting one of the tires and we lifted it until another tire came off the ground. And then we lowered the forklift until that tire touched.
Yep.
So there was 3 tires on the ground, 1 up in the air.
Yep.
So underneath the front tire, it was 41 inches with Kermit.
Yep.
Okay.
And rear tire was the same, 41 inches.
Correct. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So that means that's a lot of articulation.
That is a lot of articulation.
I think with the leaf springs, I want to say it was 29 inches under the front and 31 under the rear.
I don't remember. What's Bobcat?
Bobcat front articulation is 29 inches. So that sounds about right. Rear axle on Bobcat is 33 and a quarter.
Okay.
So I think that was about right when I was on leaf springs. They're 29 and 31.
That's such a big difference.
And you go from that to 41.
29 to 41. Damn.
That's a foot difference of articulation, which is just crazy. Being the same front and rear means that Brian did a good job at 4-Wheel Underground with the geometry.
Absolutely.
And making sure that things don't bind at different points during articulation with his suspension kits, right?
Yeah.
With front and rear.
And are you running the same size coils front and rear?
I'm running 14s in the front, 12s in the rear.
Okay.
But the brackets and everything I have set up in the rear were the brackets designed for the 14-inch coilovers, but we chopped 2 inches off of them to shove them up closer to the axle.
All right.
So in theory, it should be roughly about the same amount of travel as the 14-inch coilovers with the stock brackets.
Yeah.
So anyways, 41 inches front and rear
For Kermit.
Yeah. Pretty damn good.
The Mule?
The Mule has a front articulation of 39.
39.
So 2 inches less.
Wow.
Which still 39 is a lot
Yes.
for a full bodied vehicle with a body and cab as big as a 4th gen 4Runner. That's still extremely respectable.
Yeah.
It's still a really good
10
amount.
more inches than Bobcat.
Right. But 2 inches less than Kermit.
Yeah.
And the rear axle articulation, so we did the same thing, lifted up a rear tire, right? Same guys.
Same scenario.
It was 38 and 7/8, so almost 39.
Right.
As well. It was just under 39. Which goes to show, I think, that being a little less. And when we did it, we saw that the tires were stuffing into the wheel well panels.
Yeah, they were stuffing into the wheel well panels and the body.
And the body
was hitting because they did have to punch in the 4th gen. They punched through the body and put the coil buckets higher, right? And had to cut parts of the body, but then built it so it was completely enclosed. And it's hitting part of that.
Yeah.
So the 42s that are on there is really too big. And so it'd be curious if we did this all over again, if you put it on 40s.
Yeah.
To see if this improves.
I think it would improve. I think we'd allow it to flex more. Would it get 2 more inches of flex?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think you'd be I don't think you'd be any more in the front.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree.
Right. And you might be a little bit more in the rear.
Yeah.
Maybe 40 inches.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. This right here was exciting for me to do the measurement on because it's what my butt dyno was telling me from on the trail.
Oh, that it's not as much as
that
Kermit.
It's not as much because I was like, the tires are stuffing. I don't think the tires are the right size for this vehicle.
Yes.
That's cool to be on 42s, but it's not practical with this vehicle the way it's set up.
Right.
It needs more clearancing on the rear fender wells to really run 42s.
You're right.
And to do this measurement, get it up on the forklift, see the contact of the tires there, and see the lower articulation than Kermit. That made me kind of feel like, okay, so my intuition while I'm driving and what I'm feeling is correct.
Right.
And I'm not making stuff up or having to second guess myself. Right.
Sure.
So anyways, that was really exciting to me to compare to both ends. And again, while we're on the topic of articulation and wheel travel, just for shits and giggles, we lifted the rear end of the Mule up.
Yeah.
So that the full axle, the rear axle just drooped as far as it would. And the pinion doesn't really, you watched it.
Yeah.
As I was pulling up the rear end.
Pinion doesn't really move at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does move a little bit up, but they did a very good job of putting the limit straps where they needed to be.
Yeah.
So that there was pretty much or practically no movement at like full droop.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And Dima said that there might be upwards of maybe 5 degrees of pinion movement.
Yeah.
During the full droop of the axle. And I was just kind of like took his word for it, but it was nice to be able to see that.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, they did a good job with the reverse triangulated 4-link. Like it's impressive. And to still almost match the numbers that Brian got from 4-Wheel Underground, it's still pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I still put the 4-Wheel Underground stuff as kind of like the top tier of articulation and build quality.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right? So,
and a major benefit is that it's a kit, right?
Yeah.
So it's already kind of like we've said it a million times, but it's already laid out for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just have to follow a few directions and slap it on your frame and slap it on your axle. I mean, it's not quite as easy as that, but it is almost as easy as that.
I used Elmer's glue with mine.
There you go. Yeah. I've been using wood glue. Yeah.
Perfect.
So, 030 wood glue.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, to see, you know, and this really does prove that, you know, it's like Brian knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He, you know, he packages it very well, and it excels even some of our major, super nice, highly educated fabricators in the area.
Yep.
You know, this kit outdid it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, if we were to put a custom 3-link on the Mule, would it get as much articulation?
I don't know.
I don't know if it has to do with that rear 4-link that it's binding up, or the tires not being the right size and hitting and contacting. I am really curious to run the articulation numbers again once we put 40s on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'll be interesting, but your front didn't bind on anything, and it still got to 39.
Yep.
So I don't think that there's much to do. There is a different packaging factor and some different limitations probably with the 4th gen compared to your rig. But I think that, I mean, they both articulate a lot, but it is really neat to see that the 4-Wheel Underground kit has done so well.
Won it out. Yeah. Moving on, we have angles.
Right. We don't have angles for Kermit.
Yeah, we didn't have those when we did it, I guess. Which I don't remember ever doing the approach and departure angles on Kermit. I am really curious. I think because I really don't want to know what the departure angle is on Kermit, because I know it's going to be shit. But it's, I know that the approach angle on Kermit is really nice.
Yeah.
Approach angle is great.
Is it as good as Bobcat?
I would imagine it's about the same, if not a little better.
And Bobcat has a better departure, I think, an approach.
Yeah. I think your departure angle is a lot better.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So your approach angle is better than your departure on Bobcat.
What?
Your approach angle is better than your departure angle on Bobcat.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think that the Kermit's approach angle is maybe a little bit better, just because I think my axle's pushed forward furher, but it's roughly similar. It's a similar frame though.
Yeah.
So, and bigger tires. So I think my approach angle might beat Bobcat's. It would be close though. The departure angle, I think Bobcat definitely has Kermit beat. The departure angle on 2nd gen 4Runners it's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I was shocked that this one was so good.
I was too. I was not expecting this one to be at what it was, especially because I came down on the links, the link brackets in the rear quite a bit.
Yeah. On
the Rubicon, that I didn't really come down on stuff on Kermit.
Right.
And I think that goes into the frame height.
Yes.
So
I think so.
Yeah, the approach angle for the Mule, and this is your ability to approach a 90-degree wall or whatever the angle is and climb it before hitting anything else other than your tires.
Yeah.
Right. So the Mule can approach a 66-degree angle and climb it before, at 67 degrees, we're going to hit the bumper or something.
Right. I think it's a little bit more.
Okay.
Because the winch line was out and we couldn't completely get it to the bumper.
Gotcha.
But I wouldn't say it's 70. I would say it's 68-ish, 69.
You say it's 69.
Sure, 69.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
That makes me happy.
There you go.
Husband will be happy too.
Yep. absolutely. So I think your approach it was a little bit more than 66.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And Kermit's approach angle, we don't know,
No.
but I think it's pretty similar to Bobcat's, and Bobcat's is 61.
Okay.
So the Mule has a little bit better, which makes sense. If that thing is stretched 8 inches in the wheelbase,
Yeah.
that front axle has really moved forward. And with the FJ80 box on there with the swinging forward pitman arm proves, I think, that it is moved forward, I think, more than we think it is.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to have a really nice approach angle. The departure angles, the Mule is a lot better than I thought it would be.
Me too.
Yeah, being a forerunners just have fat asses.
Yes.
And a lot of overhang. And it's sitting at a 66-degree departure angle.
Yeah. So the wheel well of that vehicle must be very far back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's just the way they designed it is it actually has a better departure angle than previous versions. Because even the 3rd gen has a big heavy ass.
It has a big old overhang. Yeah. Yeah.
So 1st, 2nd, and 3rd gens always had this big, heavy, big, long overhang for where like the truck bed style thing is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they changed that in 4th and 5th gens because 5ths are pretty similar to the 4ths in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have as much of an overhang past the wheel well.
Okay.
The wheel well's pretty far back there.
Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense because I made comments of when I was looking at the Mule, one of the big things for me was just how much more space there is in the cabin for people.
Yeah.
And that I can sit in the back seat of the Mule and be comfortable with the driver's seat in my position.
Right.
I can't even get in the back seat of the 2nd gen of Kermit with the driver's seat in my position. There's no space there. And I made a comment, I think, that the cargo area, so from the back of the rear seats to the door, is 10 inches less
in
the Mule than it is in Kermit.
Okay, that makes sense.
The cab is also 10 inches wider.
Okay, well, okay.
Sorry, 6 inches less, 10 inches wider.
Okay.
So
the seats are further back.
The seats sit further back, which means that wheel well and rear axle
have moved further back
too to create space for that.
Right.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Anyways, I thought that was fascinating. The 66-degree departure angle. I still think the frame height is a little too low for what I would want because I kept coming down on those rear link brackets, which hang down another 2 inches below the frame height, 3 inches maybe. So yeah, I want a little bit more frame height.
Do you think the link brackets in the rear are lower than your skid plate?
Good question.
Yeah.
We'll
have to measure
I don't know. That'd be damn close.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Bobcat's departure angle is 45 degrees, roughly.
Yeah, roughly 45.
Roughly 45. But you have a nice frame height.
Yes.
And the frame height and the truck frame, doesn't it come up a little bit in the rear?
It does. Yeah.
So your frame height in the rear is even more than what your frame height is in the middle, your cab section, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we measured your frame height on. So your rear bumper has quite a bit of air underneath it.
Right. And actually,
even though you have a lower departure angle, I don't think you hit nearly as much stuff.
No, not on that section so much, but I do hit my the shackle and the
that's
leaf.
True. Yep.
So that is where I actually bottom out at.
Yeah.
So if we got a big piece of plywood and we shoved it underneath the tires, then you kind of pull it out inch by inch and then until you shove it up till it hits the first thing it hits underneath your vehicle, then that becomes your departure angle.
Yep.
Right. And it hits my shackles
before
it hits my bumper.
Okay. That makes more sense.
I have a lot of clearance in the center of the vehicle, but where my leaf springs are, that's where what I come down on. And most of the time I hit that.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming off of a rock or I'm coming off of something with the tire.
Yeah.
Right. And I come down and I hit the end of the leaf spring or the shackle area.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot with Kermit when he had the big ass shackles in there. I think I had 9-inch.
You had
9-inch, half-inch shackles, something like that.
Yeah,
under there that Hussman cut when he had the water jet. I came down on those all the time.
Yeah,
and that's ultimately what I had to keep. Why I had to keep replacing bushings in the rear leaf springs. So That makes sense why your departure angle is 45 versus what I'm thinking of your bumper. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I should measure it to
the bumper
and
see what that
kind of
is.
just get that idea.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So
we don't have Kermit's departure angle. I'm guessing it's around 40,
maybe
35 to 40. It's bad.
Yeah. But we
So-
do have one more stat, something that you can do with math. And we asked Chat GPT to do it for the Mule. That's a breakover angle. So it's find the width of the wheelbase of your vehicle, and then the frame height or the lowest height of your underneath your vehicle. And then it can find whatever the angle, the triangulations for that. And Chat will do it super fast for you of like, what's my wheelbase here, or what's my breakover angle? Here's my wheelbase, and here's
my skid plate
height, frame height, whatever one's lowest, the underneath the vehicle height, and it spits you out an answer, which was super nice.
Yep.
And so we have all those numbers for all the vehicles as well.
Yep. So we have for the Mule, which is 118-inch wheelbase and 21.5-inch skid plate height.
Yeah.
We have a breakover angle clearance of 39 degrees.
Right.
And so that doesn't tell you a lot by itself. It just tells you that there's a 39 degrees of clearance between the center point and the bottom of your tires. The center point of your skid plate and the bottom of your tires.
The center point of your wheelbase.
Thank you.
And the ground.
Yes.
Is that angle is 39 degrees.
Yep.
So if you go over a crest, like you're driving up a hill, right? And the hill is fairly steep, and then the top of it is flat. If that exceeds 39 degrees, the Mule is going to bottom out.
Yeah.
Going over that.
Yep.
Right. And you had that sensation on Axle Hill.
I did. Yep. Going down the Axle Hill in the Mule, I bottomed out, and I bottomed out hard because I typically don't bottom out on that. And so I just kind of was crawling down it. And then plop, hit hard, bam, right on the skid plates of the Mule. And I was like, I've never hit that before. Okay. That means I have less of a breakover angle in the Mule than I do in Kermit.
Right.
Even though the Mule's on 42s and Kermit's on 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So how does Kermit compare here?
Yeah.
Kermit with a wheelbase of 107.5 and a skid plate height of 24.5, so 3 inches taller, gives us a 49 degree breakover angle. So 10 degrees more on what you can crest over on Kermit than the Mule. And apparently 10 degrees of that breakover angle is enough to not bottom out on Axle Hill on the Rubicon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that don't know Axle Hill's these two like rolling little hills that have like you drop in one hole and then you drive up and then you drop off a ledge on the other side, but your rear axle's falling into the first hole at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it's this really, depending on your wheelbase, depending on, your frame height, you're either coming down on it or not.
Yeah.
And I think you have two factors here with Kermit, right? You're 107 wheelbase compared to 118, right? So you're shorter.
Yeah.
And you're taller by 3 inches.
Yeah.
Right? That compared to the Mule. And so because of that, you don't ever bottom out. Your breakover angle's 10 degrees higher.
Yep.
And so that helps you not bottom out on Axle Hill, or you can clear the crests of mountains coming up over some ledges or anything. Yeah.
So I'm curious because Bobcat, we kind of said when it comes to frame height, the Bobcat and Kermit were similar compared to the Mule, at least.
Yeah.
But Bobcat is an even longer wheelbase. So Bobcat has the height, but it has a longer wheelbase. So how does Bobcat fare on Axle Hill?
Yeah. So it's really, for Axle Hill, it's really hit and miss because sometimes there's a little bit of rocks stuffed in Axle Hill, kind of fill, like some people didn't make it up. And when the little bit of rocks at the base, I don't bottom out.
Okay.
But if it's sort of been, all the rocks have been kicked out, I bottom out.
Okay.
And so whatever, it's behind me. I can't see what my breakover angle is. Whatever that is pretty much the breakover of Axle Hill.
Okay.
Because if there's only an inch or so that I, coming down when there's rocks in there,
Mhm.
I clear.
Okay.
Right. And if all that's gone,
Yeah.
then you're bottoming out. So what is my wheelbase?
So
excuse me.
let's theorize this here real quick.
Okay.
You're taller than the mule by
few inches.
23, 21. So 1.5, 2 inches on the frame height. So you have more ground clearance, but you're longer than the mule by 5 inches.
Right.
And you are just at the point of bottoming out.
Yeah.
Whereas the mule does bottom out and Kermit does not bottom out. And Kermit doesn't really come close to bottoming out. So I would imagine you're going to be somewhere between 39 and 49.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would assume I'm closer to the mule though.
You think so?
I don't know.
Kermit is another
I'm just so
inch.
much longer wheelbase than Kermit.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. So you think you're between 39 and 49, but closer to the mule?
I do.
You're 41.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
spot on.
I'm closer to the mule.
Yeah.
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 So roughly Axle Hill is about 42 degree
41,
breakover.
42 degree breakover angle for Axle Hill.
If you're at like 42 degree breakover angle, you might never hit.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. And that can be changed by me pulling my wheel in 1 inch or something like that. And I might be right there.
Yeah.
Right. But if I'm at 123,
yep.
Right. That stretching it out means my angle's getting wider.
Yeah.
And I have less of a breakover angle than if your angles, your tires are more narrow, if your frame stays the same.
Yep. So that's why if you hear people say like, what size tires do I need to go on a trail? And somebody says, oh, in a 2-door, you can do it on 35s or 33s. In a 4-door, you really need 37s.
Right.
That's because they're talking about that breakover angle and that ground clearance for your breakover angle. Smaller wheelbases have a much better breakover angle, I guess, because it's a steeper angle of what you can go over. Whereas longer wheelbases, like you said, it's more widened out. So it's a lower angle of attack on your breakover angle. So you need more ground clearance to compensate for that.
Yeah, 100%.
So
it would be a fun little math game to just figure out like at my wheelbase. And if I'm on stock tires, what is my breakover angle?
Oh yeah.
And then what if I'm on 33s or what if I'm on 35s, 37s?
Plot out on a graph and see if it's a linear curve so that you can guess, hey, if I put 42s on, my breakover angle is now going to be this.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
You would know what it was at. Right. Because if the wheelbase doesn't change, I mean, your frame height would change. So, and then be due to the tire size.
Yep.
And so you can always find your breakover angle.
Yeah.
And then for me, it's like the breakover angle really matters by like the size of the rocks that you're going to be climbing. Right. So in theory, I can't climb as big of a rock as Kermit can because as soon as I start to crest the rock and fall off the other side, I'm going to bottom out. And Kermit won't bottom out yet.
Yeah. Yep.
There are ways to get around that.
Yep.
But that's really what breakover angle means.
Yep.
And so it's like you can crest a mountain or climb a rock.
Go up ledges. Ledges are a big thing for breakovers. So yeah, fun stuff. That's all the measurements that Jimmy and I have kind of figured out that we like tracking between vehicles that we have and how that plays into how that's going to manipulate the vehicle on the trail. So I don't know if you guys have other stats that you're like, I really like to track this stat.
Yeah.
And like such, for instance, the big one that Jimmy and I like to do is your lowest gear.
Sure. Crawl ratio.
What is your crawl ratio? That's another stat we love tracking because we're Toyota guys and we love stacking 5 transfer cases together.
100%.
But if there's other stats that you guys like to figure out and compare against vehicles, send them in. I always think it's fun to see vehicle comparisons because we can talk all day long about Toyota, Jeep, Ford, Amigos, Isuzu, Samurais, blah, blah, blah. Really, it comes down to how are those vehicles set up and what do those variables mean for the vehicles. So
absolutely.
what are variables that you guys like to check out in cars? That's what we're here to ask. So give us a call. Let us know. 916-345-4744. That's our voicemail. Leave us a voicemail. You can also reach out to us, send a message on Instagram at 4x4 Toyota Tyler or Snail Trail 4x4. There's also emails. There's Facebook. There's irate 4x4. Lots of fun ways to get a hold of us. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anything else about fun vehicle stats?
No, I think that's really about it. I mean, I guess my final words would be I'm excited to see what the Mule will do on 40s and if those stats are how much and what changes, how do they compare to each other? And then maybe one day excited to see what Samantha will do.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Okay.
How do you get a mouse to smile?
Say cheese.
Yeah, hey, look at you, Dad. You're getting good at these.
Yeah, buddy.
Cheese.
Cheese, peanut butter and jelly.
Really, it would be any food, I would assume.
Yeah. Not if you're Ratatouille.
True.